it's weird to get up and speak seriously. On the other hand, Bill Burr got a lot of shit for this week. I'm going to rewatch it here. Maybe rewatching it will do something for me. I don't get why he got shit on so much for this. But people were like, "Oh, these two liberals fucking talking about the California wildfires." I thought this was exactly what Bill Burr has done for the last 20 years. Like, this seemed like normal Burr to me. I'm not saying it's the funniest bit he's ever come up with, but it seems like very standard Burr. But I'm going to re-listen here. Maybe I'll hear what you guys are hearing.
It's very good to see you. I heard you had to evacuate your home.
Yes. Like most people, I had to. I got lucky, the winds moved, but, the fire was coming and all that stuff. So I feel lucky.
Are you guys back in?
And I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet,
Yeah, right. I know. It's right.
Oh, my God. All of these fire experts. Why didn't you just fly a helicopter into the ocean? And then just, I don't know, because there was 100-knot winds? You want to do that?
That's Burr talking about the banking system, talking about cancer, talking about everything. Like, that's how Burr has always talked about this shit. I don't really get what people are like, "Oh man, Bill Burr has changed." I'm not saying it's the funniest thing he's done. And there is, as we talk a lot about on Why Are You Laughing, a problem a lot of comedians face as they get older is like once the magic trick is revealed, like with Anthony Jeselnik. Like, Jeselnik's coming to a point in his career where it's like he's still very funny. His last special was great, but there were moments where I was like, yeah, the kid's going to be dead, right? That's the twist this joke like, you're kind of bracing yourself for it. So with Burr, I think that's maybe the thing he's most guilty of is like you kind of know where he's going with this stuff, but I don't get the like outrage that this caused. I heard I was with the Warthog yesterday, and he had a Republican with WRKO, a right-wing radio station on, and there's a woman calling in going, "Jimmy Kimmel and Bill Burr can take their liberal bullshit somewhere else." And I was like, Kimmel, I'll grant you. I don't get the outrage over this Burr clip. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm sure the chat will let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know too, because I had a little bit of rage about it. Well, let's watch more.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
I was glad to do this with you on too, because you know more about what's going on. Obviously, you're in Los Angeles,
Right.
so.
Yeah, there's a very specific answer why people are mad. And
Okay, good.
I
Let's
agree.
get there.
I agree with it, and it's a comedy reason to me too.
Okay.
Hey, you lunatic.
How are you?
This was definitely mismanaged.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged, like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in LA, sitting there in his underwear. You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged.
You know about helicopters because I remember, and it's interesting now thinking about it because you said
I don't know about it. I know about the one that I fly. Other than that, I don't know anything about it.
But like, to me, that seems like normal Burr. And I'll tell you, here's where it cemented my opinion. You might be able to change it here. But what cemented, I was like, this is normal Burr, is what, like, he's just shitting on people on the internet. When I heard Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen breaking it down and stopping the clip, and Brendan's like, "Here's where you're wrong, Bappa." And it's like, oh, Bill was right. It's just retards that don't know what they're talking about. But I'm curious to hear your take on this. What did he miss?
Okay, so as a comedian, you have a choice: punch up, punch down. I really think that's a heavily in the formula of why we think things are funny subconsciously. And you had a choice.
I've never liked that though. I think you can punch either way.
Well, it just in this, I'm giving you the reason why I think particular people have a problem with the comedy here.
Okay,
is that alternatively, you could have made fun of, I don't know, Karen Bass or Gavin Newsom for being terrible at preventing this. You could have made fun of the reservoir being empty. I look at like the choices on the table of comedy, and then to pick up, oh, the people that are complaining about it is the point where the joke should go. I'm like, well, they're annoying, always there, and I never listen to them. Why would we focus on them and not focus on the leaders who fucked this up? Let's punch up, because if I want to see Bill Burr's power being used,
right,
I want to see it being used like to destroy something that systematically sucked. And I just find that he went for an enemy or a punchline that no one really cares about anyway.
Went the easier route.
Yeah, just easy, lazy. And there's Kimmel and him, both of them just being easy and lazy, collecting the checks and not not putting any fucking voice to power, which is what comedy is kind of supposed to fucking do if I listen to Carlin right.
I think Kimmel adds an element of this. Like, if it was just Bill ranting on his show, I don't think people are running with it. I think there's such hatred for Jimmy Kimmel when it comes to this type of stuff that people are like, look at these two. Whereas I'm taking it as just Bill Burr. And like, he has become more liberal. I think his wife is a big part of that. But like, that's always been Burr, is making fun of like us, basically making fun of the people complaining about shit. To me, that felt like standard Burr. I totally get what you're saying, where like he should be going after the big corporations, but he also said like he compliments fucking Luigi Mangione. I think we get to that at the end of this.
Yeah. No, that's always good.
Like he's saying like go after CEOs. So it's not like Burr is this completely soft Hollywood guy now. I think there's a little bit of that, but
it was a choice. I was just saying, like, there's a lot of weapons on the table, and he picked the one where, well, it's not going to do us any good in our particular situation in LA, where if he would have, a comedian stands up and says the right joke, these fucking leaders are out of here because no one can look at them anymore as serious. And that's what we're all waiting for.
I totally get that. But I also don't like the idea like Bill Burr is going to save us. He's doing Bill Burr type of, he's doing Bill Burr type of comedy, you know?
Right.
Like I think too many people were looking at it like, well, if he bashed Gavin Newsom, that could change everything. It's like, it wouldn't. People for a day on Twitter, the people that go fuck Bill Burr would be going, Bill Burr fucking nailed him. And literally nothing would be in the exact same place. It would just be the other half of the people that were outraged.
Right. Maybe the people without houses could have a smile on their face for 5 seconds. Just to have some support from somewhere.
That is fair. And but then again, I blame Kimmel, because if this show was an escape from all that and Bill Burr went off for 2 minutes about like fuck the people on the internet, no one's complaining about it. I think it's because late night in general, whether it's Kimmel or Colbert, The Daily Show, like it's all become preachy horse shit, and Bill Burr added a scoop of dirt on top of this massive landfill.
That's it. That's basically it. It's just you're not helping Bill. That's basically the sentence. What everyone. And he also kind of looks like a Superman villain in this clip.
He does.
I don't know why he has a turtleneck on, or it's like a small.
Is that right? But serious Bill.
Yes, he's very
turtleneck
serious.
with a suit jacket, and it's all black, and he's just
okay. That's interesting.
Steve full Jobs. Bald. Yeah.
Chat is saying that he sounds elitist, and I can get that.
I get it, but he was saying this stuff when he had no money. Right. Like if you listen to Let It Go or You People Are All the Same, like he's talking like this. Now, you know what? As I'm saying it, I'm realizing it was usually about like the banks and the insurance companies and shit, and not people so much. But he does talk about people like you go to imright.com and find like enhance your argument. Like he has had that sort of mentality about just people who bitch about stuff for 15 years. I do get the elitist thing, but again, I think Kimmel is a big part of that. If you remove Kimmel from that desk, I don't know if you're saying that about this particular joke.
I wouldn't want to remove the greatest Karl Malone cosplayer of all time from his own desk, Mike.
You know what? Someone, after we did that Jimmy Kimmel episode of Why You Laughing, someone messaged me, and I owe all of you an apology for not having this in. I couldn't find... I said, I guess the most ridiculous instance of Kimmel crying were the elections. Like, he cried when Trump gets elected twice. And I was like, I thought there was a more absurd example. Not that that's not absurd, but you know what I mean. And someone sent me a video of him crying when Cecil the lion died. And I was like, damn it! Back to the editing room.
He canceled for 2 weeks when Harambe died. Jimmy Kimmel just went off the air. He couldn't take the pain.
Right.
You know
but
something.
If you're on the internet, you know everything.
I hope you know about it because he's.
Also, I think he's just hitting people that are negative to him in comments. So that's why it's also like, it seems Like people
I
are mean to
don't
me.
see Burr doing that. I think we're projecting that onto him. Like, oh,
Probably.
he's mad at us because we criticize him. I'm not hearing anything that's where I expected to watch this clip because I'd heard people talk about it first. I expected to watch this clip because Burr is one of my all-time favorites and cringe and go, oh, God, Bill, why are you doing this? I watched it and I said exactly what I said before. It's not his greatest bit, but like, this is what he's done for a long time. I could probably find you 20 examples of him shitting on people on the internet for criticizing a topic.
Said that you got your pilot's license in case like all hell broke loose in L.A., you could get out of L.A. And at any moment, did you think, I'm going to make a run for that helicopter?
Well, the error in my thought was I didn't realize how expensive helicopters were. So
Not elitist at all.
all I have is a two-seater. And
Right,
I didn't want to
that's
have...
fair. Point Casey.
It's a funny joke though about the
to
helicopter.
make Sophie's choice with my family. So, you know, we all piled into the SUV like everybody else. But no, man, these guys were out there clearing the trees, getting the wires back up and everything. You know, I mean, it was like the perfect awful thing that could have happened, and it did. Huh? And I love how all the chatter out there is about bands of illegal immigrants and homeless people lighting fires. They light fires every day. They're living outside. They're cold. And this theory that some homeless guy without a car...
That does not go over well in my neighborhood. That thought right there, let me tell you.
But I'm laughing because he goes, they're fucking cold.
That is
I mean, that's funny.
But it's also very true. And almost burned my own building down here in Venice because of the same fucking thing.
And homeless people lighting fires. They light fires every day. They're living outside. They're cold. And this theory that some homeless guy without a car went from Altadena all the way to the Pacific Palisades. And then we have a hang.
A fun fact, the free train that they let the homeless ride for free goes from Altadena to the beach. So yeah.
That is funny.
Yes. Takes about 40 minutes and, you can make it easy.
Lighter. You know, and they're talking about looting, but CNN and Fox News are not going to bring up the insurance companies that are just going to keep everybody's premiums and still give themselves a bonus. Yeah. Yes.
No, we got
Free Luigi. I love how they acted so.
Like that to me has been his thing forever. Like criticize kind of both sides in a way, where he's like shitting on the people acting like experts. Like, and I get people like you are obviously more sensitive to it because you're living in it. But I'm just telling you, as someone on the other side of the country, after he said this, I watched Brendan Schaub break down why Bill Burr is wrong, which proved to me how right he was.
And I'm not sensitive about any of this shit. I'm just trying to explain
I just mean
why.
in general, it makes sense for people living in it to be like, fuck you, Bill Burr. You know, like you had a much easier time getting out of there.
I mean, anyone that takes actual offense to that should get a life. It's a joke.
Surprised. Why did that happen? I have no idea. He wrote on the bullets why it happened.
A perspective is the next one.
Yeah, so I didn't get why people saw that as elitist from Burr when you step back and say, like, that's the type of shit he's been doing forever. Like, so it's interesting to me, he had the same perspective, but now he talks about how things are different. And maybe this contributed to why people have a problem with him. Because he talks how he's changed over the years.
If you could see him, Mike, it would change everything. It's a Superman villain.
It might be. I didn't realize he was wearing a turtleneck. That's tough.
Turtleneck changes. Black turtleneck and a black sports.
That's already changing in my mind a little bit.
Yes. They're trying to figure out what
I feel like you're very introspective lately. It seems like, based on watching the special, it does seem like you're getting in touch with your emotions. Am I imagining that?
Yeah, no, I've learned that I'm really difficult to live with. And you have a wife and a kid, a couple of kids. Like when you start seeing your behavior is going to affect them positively or negatively, you kind of have to stop playing the blame game. And I don't know, dude. I don't want to go through my whole life being a lunatic. You know what I mean? And there was like a whole thing of like, East Coast people, dude, don't lose your edge. You don't want to lose your edge. Don't go getting happy. It's like, I think that's the point of the game. Stay miserable so you're still funny. And It's really like one of the big myths I found in comedy, because what's great is if you were angry and then you become just at least happier, you can revisit the same subjects with a different perspective of like, hey, maybe it was me, maybe I brought something.
I thought that was actually very interesting to hear him say that. Where like later in his career, a good way to evolve is to talk about some of the same stuff, but from a different perspective, because you've changed, because you have a family, because you're happier, you went to therapy, whatever. And so it's interesting because I'm saying like he's tackling this stuff the same way because I'm looking at from like this is how Bill Burr always talked. And people talking about him being elitist or whatever, I saw it as like him talking about the fucking firemen that were working, like the regular guys that were working out there, not necessarily Gavin Newsom or anything. But people get very worked up about this stuff. This is what, to me, this is why, this is a minor example of where the right handles shit just as poorly as the left, where they hear this guy who's like telling jokes on late night, and whether it's because they hate Kimmel, because they hate Hollywood, because they hate Burr, whatever they're mad at, they're like, fuck him. It's like he's fucking around. I don't know. Like there's not like I saw it as a guy telling jokes. I didn't see this as what we saw last night on SNL with Dave Chappelle just tucking us into bed. Like I saw it as Burr doing what he's done for 15, 20 years. So I was surprised by the response that it got.
Go to blindmike.net for everything Blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Kragers did it.